He just took out $5 from the ATM. He immediately put a layer of glue on the cash register. When other people came to withdraw money, the cash dispenser wouldn't spit out any money. Everyone thought the ATM was broken. Unbeknownst to them, the man was hiding and watching until more big losers left empty-handed. Then he walks back to the ATM. He inserts the card and enters the code, and with a couple of smashes, a stream of money pours out, and all the other people's money became his. Look at this pretty girl. She intentionally fell down and jumped on a passerby. She sneaks away his wallet. Then she handed it to her accomplice. The two of them work together so well. It's a perfect match. She doesn't even realize it. With their day-to-day operation, this team of fraudsters finally made enough money to get $5 million. But the ambition of the four of them is not only that. They wanted to use the money to catch a big fat fish. Their target was the rich man who took the waiter's tip. But getting close to him was a challenge. White throws his wallet on the floor. Then he picked it up and turned around to give it back to the rich man. But the rich man said the wallet was not his. Then they found out who owned the wallet. So they kindly went to return the wallet. But the owner of the wallet was Black, the leader of the team. Without saying a word, Black paid for it. The tycoon was about to decline. But then someone came to the door with a suitcase full of money. The tycoon's eyes went straight when he saw it. He wondered what Black did for a living. Black said it was the profit from his stock investment. Since they didn't want to accept the money, he offered to use the money to invest for them. The tycoon didn't care much about it. But a few days later, he and White received their dividends. The $200 each turned into thousands of dollars. Seeing that the tycoon was getting a taste of his own medicine, White seized the opportunity. He asked Black if there was any risk in investing. Black replied that there was no risk, seeing that other people were also encouraging him to invest. But the tycoon became suspicious. But he was surprised to see another Huang at his door. He jumped on him and thanked him profusely. He thanked Black for making him a lot of money. But Black was confused on the spot because he didn't know him well at all. But he continued to praise him. He almost thought that Black was a scammer. This time, he not only wants to continue to invest, but also to increase the principal. Black took advantage of the situation, so he tried to get him to do something. He said he wanted to talk business with Wong. Then he gave the order to leave. The tycoon was not so happy. He also wanted to join the scheme to get rich, so they agreed to pay up in a few days. But after sending the tycoon away, Black gave Yellow Hair a punch in the face. It turned out that Huang wanted to join the team because Black refused to accept him, so Wong saw the right time to help Black. Although he got beaten up, he was able to join the team, but the team encountered the next problem. If you want a rich man to take money without any doubt, the first thing they had to do was to create a grand venue. They got some fake IDs. They waltzed into a high-class office building. They went through a list of entrances and exits when no one was looking. They got a lock that Celebrity Mark wasn't in the building at the moment. They knocked on his office door. No one answered. They picked the lock and got in. They removed the name Mark from the door plate, replaced it with Black, the investment expert. Then they started to quickly set up the room. They hung 3 clocks on the wall, but once everything was in place, there was one problem. If the rich man came in and asked the receptionist, then we'll be caught red-handed. Seeing that the tycoon was already here with a cash box, Huang directly sacrificed his sex and used a beautiful man's trick. When the receptionist was shy, Sexy saw the right time to go to the reception, the rich man into the carefully arranged trap. But when discussing business, Black deliberately did the opposite, saying that this investment is very risky, it is likely to lose money and even illegal to go to jail. Who would have thought that the tycoon would be even more excited after hearing that? Because everyone has this kind of mentality. The more risky it is, the more profit will be made. But Blackie again proposed. No contract and only cash. The rich man immediately shook hands and agreed. This big fat fish was successfully hooked, but unexpectedly things went wrong. It turns out that the fraud team has already been targeted by the police. Detectives arrested Wong and threatened him. He told him to go back and act as an informant. Huang returned to the lair with a suitcase of money. He continued to play the role of a rich businessman who wanted to invest. By chance, the tycoon was about to make a deal with a suitcase full of money, but the detective burst into the room with his man. The whole gang was held at gunpoint. Only then did the rich man learn from the detective that he had been tricked by the gang, but the detective betrayed Huang on the spot. He praised him for a job well done. Hay was betrayed by his disciple and was furious. He grabbed the police's gun. Then he turned his gun on Wong. He didn't give him a chance to explain. He was about to teach his pupil his last lesson. He didn't expect the bullet to miss. Huang was unharmed, but Black was shot in the head by the detective. The bullet went straight through the back of his head. However, after the gang was caught, the rich man's suitcase of money was seized by the police as evidence against the fraudsters. The tycoon was so angry that he went crazy on the spot, but he could only leave the police station cursing. Unexpectedly, the shocking reversal has just begun. It turns out Wong didn't betray the team. He was just being followed to the den by the detectives. Even after Black died, he still refused to betray the rest of the team, but the detective suddenly said he was qualified. When he said that, but then his teammates, they were supposed to be in jail, and they came out with champagne. What's even more bizarre is that Black is not dead. It turns out that Black's death was just a trick. They've done many experiments before. They installed a simple device on the watermelon rind. Press the remote control switch. It won't hurt the inside of the watermelon at all. When the detective fired the gun, his accomplice saw the chance to press the switch, and Black only got a slight shock to the back of his head. It was purely an act to make it look like he was killed. Even the detective's identity was a fake. They took advantage of the real detective's weakness for sex. They were lured by the team's sexuality halfway across the street. He's still in the middle of the act, and he's in the middle of it because he's on his way to the police station, so no one knows what he looks like. The fake detective took his place, and the box of seized bills was full of fake money. No evidence of fraud at all, so the big fat fish scam was a success.